Hey, welcome back to Poorly Explained. Here's Ultraman Nexus. They gave it a plot, like an actual plot that goes through all 37 episodes and the movie. Sort of. The movie, not so much. It's referenced.
Oh,
Yeah, so when I watched it, I watched the movie second. You're supposed to watch the movie first, I think.
oh.
Which is great, because they put it on disc 6. And then they call it The Next. Anyway, 2 weeks from retirement, a military pilot flies into a red light. He's taken in by an anti-bioterrorism unit and given the codename The Next, because a submariner who saw a blue light became the One, a monster who grows by assimilating other creatures.
Hmm.
Basically, after the defeat of the One, Nexus just kind of pieces out. He's like, yeah, I'm glad we worked together to kill this thing, but, see ya.
Okay.
Yeah, so Nexus, so this is like 5 years later, when Nexus proper takes place. It's part of the TLT. Something that they don't actually tell you what it means in the show. At least not that I saw.
Okay.
It's a Terrestrial Liberation Trust. And I would not trust these fuckers.
Yeah, well, it's not. It doesn't mean trust in that sense, but.
These
sure.
guys are scary.
Okay.
They're like the Men in Black. They got the little memory wipers.
Oh, good.
So somebody dies due to a monster attack, they just show up, hit him with a cell phone, and be like, you didn't see a monster. Bye.
Mm.
And there's a lot of monsters. So, rescue worker, soon to be Nexus. I hate this because I thought he was going to become Nexus, like, early on. So that's why I called him soon to be Nexus in all my notes.
Uh-huh.
Episode 37. Final episode. Final 2 minutes.
Oh my god.
He gets abducted into a top secret government organization, and Nexus shows up and punches a larger than average slug in front of him for slowing down traffic.
Okay.
So he's driving to work
Yeah.
after being abducted and being told, "Hey, you're joining this organization. Don't tell anybody." And there's a bus on the road, and it's empty. And he gets out to look at it, and then a giant slug comes out of nowhere, and Nexus just punches it. And it's real good.
Okay.
Soon to be Nexus spends a month in basic training while the slugs learn about hostage tactics. Nexus appears to stop the slug, but the Night Raiders open fire on him. So the Night Raiders are the actual group that, am I calling them Riders? Raiders. They're the attack team.
Okay.
And yeah, so Nexus appears and he's getting ready to fight the slug, and the Night Raiders are just like, yeah, open fire on that guy too, especially that guy. He might be dangerous. He just saved those people that we were definitely not going to save.
Wait, so the Raiders are the Raiders part of TLT?
Yes.
Okay.
They're the quote-unquote good guys.
Uh-huh.
And,
is TLT the people that abducted
yes.
the protagonist? Okay.
Soon to be Nexus learns that the TLT can casually erase memories, and he shouldn't trust everything he sees. Nexus is deemed a threat. Soon to be Nexus fights some slugs in the woods with actual Nexus.
Hmm.
Except that in its human form.
Oh, okay.
You see, unlike other Ultramen, the Nexus host isn't really afraid to be like, hey, I'm Nexus, by the way.
Well, with everyone going around getting their memories erased, he's probably like, probably not going to fucking... They're probably going to get their mind wiped, and they're not even going to remember anyway. Like, these rules just don't matter.
So the Night Raiders plan to trap and burn the slugs in a tunnel, and fail because the slugs have read the script.
Damn.
Nexus takes the slug to the Ultra Fight Zone and uses a tornado to plant it in the ground. See, Nexus is a really cool guy, because he makes this time-space barrier where he can fight the monsters without, threat of blowing up towns.
Okay.
Also, he does it to save the budget. Because they can just keep reusing the same set. They don't have to make a miniature town or anything.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And, so that's the Ultra Fight Zone. I think it's called the Meta Zone, but I like Ultra Fight better.
Yeah, that's better.
Soon-to-be Nexus tries to convince the rest of the Night Raiders that Nexus is a cool guy, no avail. Meanwhile, Nexus tries to deal with a klepto bug that's been stealing cars while the Raiders pester him.
Wait, what? They're trying to steal what?
The bug is stealing cars.
Oh, okay.
And while Nexus is trying to deal with it, the Raiders keep shooting him.
Great.
Because, that guy is clearly the villain. The bug, harmless.
Yeah, I mean, it's only stealing cars. It's fine.
Nexus uses his space coffin to avoid being shot, and soon-to-be Nexus gets part of his backstory forcefully injected by touching said coffin. Nexus is apparently the second one, according to Command.
Who's Command?
It's just the guy giving orders to the Night Raiders.
Oh.
See, he shows up to seem ambiguously evil.
Okay.
Because he's always like, hey, prioritize killing the monster. Humans, if they get hit, if they're in the crossfire, they're in the crossfire. Just don't worry about it. He does a lot of things behind the scenes, but he doesn't come up very often. The Night Raiders get called in to exterminate a monster hiding in a factory, and soon-to-be Nexus disobeys orders to save a child. Nexus gets distracted by his own shadow clone, Faust. You see, he's heading over to the factory, and his shadow clone comes up and he's like, I'm a shadow. I'm your shadow. You can't beat me.
I'm a shadow. Fuck, I don't remember the fucking speech from P4.
The true self or some nonsense like that.
Something of that nonsense. You must defeat me to get your persona.
Yeah, so every time Nexus brings up his Ultra Fight Zone, Faust shows up and is like, now it's my fight zone where I have the advantage. Because I have dark powers. I can just steal your fight zone.
Okay.
Nexus and soon-to-be Nexus survive their respective enemies. The child that was saved gets the memory wiped. Soon-to-be Nexus' girlfriend is targeted by something.
Okay.
Something tries to drop a window on soon-to-be Nexus' girlfriend. Meanwhile, Nexus fights an explosive monster and Faust. The Night Raiders try to break in to watch, but fail, leading soon-to-be Nexus to find his girlfriend.
Wait, to what?
Leading soon-to-be Nexus to find his girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
She's just out in the woods after somebody dropped a window on her.
Okay.
It's real good. The Night Raiders plan to use the Ultra Fight Zone to dispatch the monster due to its poison. Soon-to-be Nexus' girlfriend might have amnesia or is possessed. Soon-to-be Nexus' girlfriend and her family are all revealed to be dead, and the girlfriend recovered during the mission is a doll made by Faust.
Okay.
See, I don't know if I'm going to explain it later, but this is all a long con by the next villain. That the day that soon-to-be Nexus met his girlfriend, she died. So he's been hanging out with Dollfriend the entire time.
Damn. Damn.
Okay, so the big bad, he's a former Night Raider. He does a bit of trolling. Dollfriend turns into Faust and gets killed by the same monster that killed girlfriend.
Okay.
See, Faust and Nexus are fighting, and I think soon-to-be Nexus is like, hey, no, you can't be doing this or some nonsense, and she gains just enough control over Faust to protect soon-to-be Nexus, and then she dies.
I thought it was a doll. Like, why?
She has emotions, I guess.
Hey.
It's a very finely crafted doll.
Okay.
Using big cats, the big bad reveals he has Satan powers and is using soon-to-be Nexus as a tool to convince the Vice Captain to join his team. Yeah, it's an even... it's weird, because, like, you think the main guy is, like, the... No, it's just, hey, what if I piss off the Vice Captain just enough that she joins me? The bad guys. I don't know, it was a really dumb fucking plan.
I mean, if you look at, like, if that's, like, your best option, like, I get it. It does feel random.
Although, using the big cats, though, that's my favorite. Because she goes to a zoo, and every time he talks, they put the subtitles over, like, a lion or a tiger.
Hey.
It's really good. So the big bad, Mephisto, he reveals his Ultra form and uses a monster to try turning a family into beavers.
Why?
Because they were talking to soon-to-be Nexus.
Okay, but why does that... What does turning them into beavers accomplish?
You know, I'm not entirely sure. they just... The monster kills the parents.
Uh-huh.
And then the kids wake up in their summer home. And they go downstairs, and the parents are eating logs of wood. and they put some logs on plates, and they're like, look, your log is getting cold, please eat it. Anyway, the Night Raiders use their new combination vehicle, and Mephisto gives the brother a front row seat to the show of watching the monster and his sister get blown up. Because the monster takes the brother's sister and puts it in his head cage. And Mephisto's like, hey, check this shit out. Watch them fire the big gun at your sister. And he gets really mad about that.
Uh-huh.
Nexus gives his perspective on his backstory in an attempt to convince soon-to-be Nexus to give up his hatred, while Mephisto and the Vice Captain kind of push him further into the darkness. See, the Captain has this huge... Or the Vice Captain's got this huge hate boner towards the monsters.
Uh-huh.
Because they killed her mom, like, 20 years ago.
This is sounding familiar. Not gonna lie. Like, I'm just waiting for soon-to-be Nexus to hop into a mech and fly at Godzilla.
But no, so Vice Captain is still part of the Night Raiders. She's not joining Mephisto or anything. But she's like, use your hatred and turn that into power. Only then can you overcome the monsters.
Ah, yes, the Sith. Got it. Good old Palpatine.
Soon-to-be Nexus goes on the run with Nexus' journalist friends, but Mephisto finds him and continues trolling. Soon-to-be Nexus breaks free when he steps on the Lucky Charm from Dalfred and he returns to the Night Raiders. See, he makes an illusion of Dalfred.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, and Dalfred's like, you can live with me, it'll be fine, we don't have to think about things anymore. And I don't know what Mephisto's getting out of this. Like, I think he's gonna take over soon-to-be Nexus and use him as a doll too.
But what would that accomplish? Like, soon-to-be Nexus isn't, like, that important?
I think it's mind games, I don't know.
Mm.
But yeah, no, he steps on a Lucky Charm that Dalfred made him, which, after finding out, it's whatever. The Night Raiders fight some zombies and a beast that causes hallucinations. This reminds the Vice Captain of the night Mephisto went rogue.
Okay.
See, they were also fighting zombies. And then Mephisto shows up to the Night Raider guy. It's like, hey, don't you want to have dark powers? And he's just like, yeah, sure, why not?
Hey. Wait, but you said Mephisto showed up to... But I thought Mephisto was the guy who went rogue.
It's another Ultraman thing where there's Mephisto, and then he's piloting, or he's given his powers to a guy.
Okay, alright.
Who also goes by Mephisto.
Great, awesome, not confusing in the slightest. Got it.
Well, I mean, he's got a human name, but I don't remember his human name.
That's fine.
But they call him his human name until he transforms in them. But they're two separate entities, also the same entity.
Okay.
It makes perfect sense. Anyway, the vice captain goes to confront Mephisto, gets his backstory for accepting the darkness. It was just, hey, don't you want to be more than human? Also, you can't shoot me. I'm a giant guy over here. Like, you're done. Won't do anything. She shoots Mephisto in the back during his monologue, and while he's talking to the captain, and it's going to be Nexus. Allowing Nexus to actually fight the monster. Hallucination monster.
But why would shooting Mephisto in the back?
Because he was making a barrier or some nonsense around the monster. And she shot him when he wasn't paying attention. Because he's been trying to recruit her.
Alright, I guess, I feel like that context was lost. I missed the point where he was, like, trying to find the monster. But, okay.
So the Night Raiders plan to use a city as bait to lure out an interdimensional beast. Unfortunately, the ensuing battle is caught on camera by a photographer who looks up to Nexus. So, Nexus's human form is also a photographer. And...
Oh.
He went to some war-torn country as, a war photographer and all that, and that's been haunting him for years. Or months, or something. That's his backstory. He doesn't know why he's been given this power. He just knows that he has it.
Hey.
It won't make sense. It's fine. I'm not doing a good enough job to describe all about it. So, you know what? It's whatever.
It's on brand. It's fine.
So, the Night Raiders plan to attack the Beast using the same tactics and a new jet that can go interdimensional.
Okay.
The photos are taken by Nexus's journalist friend before the memory police can confiscate them. Nexus reaches his limit and collapses. The second Nexus spends a whole lot of time getting his ass kicked. Just a whole lot of time. After defeating the Beast, Nexus is captured by TLT and put into the device to learn the origin of his power. Meanwhile, journalist friend is on the run from Tilt. Nexus eventually flatlines from the device. So they're like, hey, what if we turn up the oscillations and make it like the Beast oscillations or whatever the fuck. See, the Beasts have their special vibration and whatnot.
Okay.
And for some reason they're like, hey, what if we turn that on, and then they kill him.
Cool.
Yeah, so Nexus is revived and he escapes.
By who?
They turn the machine on again. For some reason that brings it back.
Hey.
The journalist friend hangs out with the UFO club, who are orchestrating some plan to outwit Tilt. This never comes up again.
Sick.
It's something like, hey, some theory is like, if you put out 70% of false information and 30% true information, it spreads better. It's like Shannon's theory or something like that. I don't know. I looked it up.
Oh, okay. So it's a real thing.
Yeah, it's a real thing. I looked it up and I was like, this is too big brain for me.
Okay.
Too mathy. Mephisto returns and his new plan involves tentacles. He just summons them around town. Just kidnaps a whole bunch of people.
Cool.
Mephisto is doing kidnappings to open the gates of hell. Or the hell dimension. Netherworld. Land of the Dead. One of those. Doesn't matter. The Night Raiders enter the gate and they find Nexus crucified. I mean, we're going back to that gem. You know, Ultraman getting crucified. We haven't had that in a while.
I forgot that happened before.
Oh, it happens a whole bunch. Like, I think it was Ace when like the first four Ultra Brothers all got crucified together.
Oh yeah, yeah, that did happen.
I think Jack got crucified upside down.
It's technically how, or that's a way of doing it, I guess. I don't remember, but it's so weird. Like that's. Like, I wonder what the Japanese think that represents. Like, because to us, it's very specific. It's very specifically Jesus and, like, all the implications of that.
I think...
But I wonder if it's, like... But, like, to us, it's like Jesus, but it's how would I put this? It's somehow very focused, but also has a lot of nuance to it. Whereas I wonder if the Japanese are just like, it's like Jesus, and then they just leave it at that, and it's like, he's the savior, so he has to be crucified.
I think I read somewhere that like Subaraya, the main guy, was Catholic or something. So that's why there's a whole bunch of, like, imagery like that in there.
Yeah, but the funny thing is that Catholicism doesn't... I mean, it makes a point of, like, you can, like, wear a cross and stuff, but I don't feel like it makes a point of, like...
Look, I don't know. That's why when Ultraman does just, like, T-beam or space...
Oh, that's awful. No, I don't want Ultraman to be a fucking Catholic superhero. That's so weird. That's so fucking weird.
Anyway, so the Mephisto's actual plan was to steal Nexus's light to somehow become even more perfect. So like when he's crucified, he's got like these tentacles growing on him.
Great.
No, it's real good shit. Somebody finally explains the whole Ultraman thing to Nexus.
To Nexus.
To his host.
Yeah.
Yeah, so his host has been like, this is my punishment for not doing the thing, like not saving this girl in this village.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, no, this isn't a punishment. What the no, where did you get that? No, you're supposed to be like, just help people.
Oh my god.
We picked you because you know how to help people, and
you have the spirit of goodness and whatnot in you.
Yeah, something along those lines. It only took 24 episodes for somebody to tell him. Nexus gets juiced up by the Night Raiders, and then he sacrifices himself to stop Mephisto.
Okay.
Yeah, it's real good. Hey, this is why you're Ultraman. Oh, I'm dead now. 25 is a recap episode. It's framed with the Night Raiders being questioned.
Mm.
There's also a saboteur hanging around. Just somewhere.
Okay.
The third Ultraman arrives. Or the third Nexus, or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And this is like the only time they talk about the movie.
Oh.
Yeah. So they're just like, yeah, no, I can't believe it. You're the third one, and it's been 5 years since the next showed up, and it's whatever. New Nexus, he's a carny with a potentially dark past who seems way more understanding about the whole Ultraman thing. There's also a new memory police lady who might be the saboteur. She's not. Nexus is followed by the soon-to-be Nexus, the new MP lady, and a totally inconspicuous masked person. Nexus might be a Prometheus child who has connections with the Night Raiders command. So the Prometheus project is they genetically engineered children, humans, and whatnot, because reasons.
What did they genetically... Are they just described as just genetically engineered? Like, there was no end result? Like, what did they want?
Well, this won't be explained until later, but the guy whose genetics they took, he was a telepath.
Okay, so they wanted a bunch of psychics.
Yes. Why? I don't know. I don't think the show knew. It's just something that Tilt America was doing.
Of course it was America. They were the ones who fucking... They injected a random thing to fight... Well, it wasn't even necessarily to fight Ultraman. They were just like, make it big.
No, the Americans didn't do that.
I could have sworn. I thought it was in New York.
Are we talking about the beetle, the Satan beetle, or whatever?
Yeah.
No, that was whatever organization from that show was.
Oh, I thought it was in America.
No.
Damn it.
No, I think it might have been in America at one point, but it was not the Americans who enlarged it.
Oh,
I'm glad I can clear that up after 6 months or maybe a year.
Okay.
So, soon-to-be Nexus spends a whole lot of time trying to learn about the Prometheus project. And, supposedly the new big bad is testing Nexus's abilities. Because he'll have the new Nexus fight his guy, his monster.
Mm-hmm.
And then before Nexus can land the killing blow, he just, yoinks him out.
Okay.
So, Mephisto and the girl whose parents were turned into beavers both have amnesia, and they decide to go camping on Monster Mountain. I don't know why. They just show up together, and they're like, hey, I got amnesia. You got amnesia? Let's go to the mountain! Mephisto's captured by Till.
Hey, what? He's not dead?
No, he just has amnesia. He's, bleeding out and dying. But he's fine.
Okay.
So, Nexus was rushed at the end.
Uh-huh.
It's going to start coming off that way.
Okay.
Because they put it in the wrong time slot. That supposedly, I don't know, I watched a retrospective of it a while ago, and they're like, oh yeah, no, they were, they put this on, they put this on, when you would have, a good time Ultraman story, and not so much a bad time Ultraman story.
Oh.
And so, yeah.
Mm.
Nexus and friends get into a scuffle with Mr. Inconspicuous, and they recover some data regarding the arrival of Raphael.
Ninja Turtle? I like that that's the first place I go! Not the Renaissance painter, Ninja Turtle.
No, well, it's just... they get one word off this little flash drive, and it's just Raphael, and that's it.
Okay. Alright. I thought this was an actual character, but alright.
So, the memory police lady, she questions Nexus on it. He's just like, oh, I don't want to talk to Raphael. No, not yet.
Cowabunga.
Nexus fights a lizard that can predict its movements. I don't know how. It just does.
Predict, but you said predict its movements. His. Oh, alright. The way... It sounded like you said its, so I was like, why? Okay, it can predict its own movements. Like, what does that accomplish? That doesn't...
No, that high-level fighting.
Uh-huh.
If you know what you're gonna do, your opponent might not know what you're gonna do.
Sure.
Anyway, Mephisto regains his memories, and he takes the MP lady hostage.
Yeah, that's a problem.
In order to apologize to the girl whose parents he turned into beavers. He's shot in the back by new Mephisto, and both of them are blown up by Nexus. Old Mephisto warns that the big bad unknown hand is closer than they think.
I thought he got blown up.
He shrunk down real quick.
What?
I think he just blew up the Mephisto energy, killing Mephisto and not new or old Mephisto.
Okay.
So they're both in their human. It's fine.
Okay.
Anyway, I think Mephisto's gone for the rest of the show.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna get some backstory on this world. 20 years ago, visitors, with quotes, arrived on Earth and allowed Tilt to have their tech, provided they don't allow the beast to end the world. So 5 years ago, Ultraman Next shows up and and the visitors create the Sea of Oblivion, containing all the memories of Ultraman's first battle. Nexus goes on a date and is also reaching his life expectancy. See, he's a clone, or he's genetically modified, and he's got this a defect that's going to kill him soon. Which ties into his fighting style, which is basically don't care about taking damage. I'm going to die soon anyway, so, just rush in there. I know I didn't bring it up, but everybody's just like, hey, your fighting style sucks. You need to care more about yourself. Okay, so the reason for the memory wipes is because the beasts like the flavor of terror. See, if there's more terror, more beasts come.
Okay.
Nexus is basically dead at this point. Like, he's on the ground like, shit, I fucked up. Also, he gets captured by Tilt.
Oh, good. Just repeating that again.
Yeah, they hook him up to the machine. And they're like, do the same thing. So the Night Raiders go rogue to save Nexus from the experiments that killed the other Nexus. Nexus decides to get into a street fight instead of taking his medicine, causing the Light to revoke his Ultraman privilege. The Vice Captain appears to be the next Nexus.
What do you mean appears? Like,
when I was taking the...
It seems like it, or that she just suddenly is there, and then the Nexus, whatever Nexus is like, you...
I think the final scene when I was taking the notes is just like... And then we couldn't have predicted what was going to happen next, and it's her walking up to the space coffin.
Okay.
So I wasn't entirely sure at that point.
Okay.
Alright, you ready for like 12 episodes in one? This whole final episode is like an entire arc.
Okay.
So the Saboteur is revealed to be the analyst who's done nothing in this fucking show.
Okay. Great.
There's one moment that's like, oh, it's him. And he's chuckling to himself, and this is like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, why not? His name is Dark Zaggy, and his plan was to use the Vice Captain. So 18 years ago, he showed up and killed her parents, creating the seed of hatred for her against all beasts.
The analyst that showed up?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because
so the analyst is a monster?
Something like that. I think that's how it was supposed to be.
Okay.
He's saggy.
Okay.
And so the whole idea was she would grow up continuing to hate the monsters, so much so that when she finally becomes Ultraman, the power of light would be so consumed with hatred, it would sync up with the fear contained in the Sea of Oblivion to pull the old switcheroo and change light to dark, so Zaggy could power up and regain his true form.
Okay.
Soon to be Nexus saves the Vice Captain from the darkness, and he finally gets to be Nexus.
Oh my god.
He achieves his final form by combining the other two Nexus forms and explodes Zaggy in space. Just fucking shoots him up into space and he blows up, and that's the end of it.
I thought the hand thing was the final boss.
Yeah, Zaggy was the unknown hand.
Oh, that wasn't like a capitalized proper title. That was just...
No, it was capitalized and proper title. They were just calling him that because they didn't know his name, and I'm sure the show writers didn't know his name either. And then he just shows up for this one episode. And, yeah. So, real good.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like the protagonist didn't fucking matter.
No, he really did not until the last 2 minutes. When he finally got to live up to my namesake that I've been giving him.
Yeah. Oh, man.
No, he shows up, he has some emotional baggage with his doll friend. And then he sort of just exists to contrast the Vice Captain who just wants to kill all monsters.
Okay.
Well, that's basically it. I feel like this whole, like, oh, yeah, no, the light is now darkness, and it just kind of comes out of nowhere, and it's like, I can see that you wanted to wrap this up real quick, but, just sort of did that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I really like this one. After watching Cosmos, I was like, wow, this is good.
Mm.
This is, there's actually something going on.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
You wrote a story. You wrote a plot that wasn't just episode of the week until like the last episode,
In which it was like all the episodes.
But yeah, no, it was.
I mean, yeah, it seems fine. Like it feels like a Battlestar Galactica situation where it was just like, we just fucking didn't know how to end it, and so we just winged it.
Well, I think they knew how to end it. It's just like I said, they were rushed. Like they were told, hey, we're canceling your show. Have fun.
Yeah, like it. Yeah, considering like, well, it does feel like the what the fuck was his name?
Zaggy? The
Zaggy.
last guy?
Yeah, the Zaggy poll was just kind of a poll. Like, they're just like, and it was this guy all along. And it's like, who? What?
No, it's really good because the analyst has like one scene in this entire show before his heel turn, and it's him getting his ass beat by a monster, and he's like, please shoot it.
Great.
And that's the only thing I remember him doing this entire show is being on his ass begging for soon to be Nexus to shoot the monster, and then heel turn.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, getting some real Kingdom Hearts vibes from the way this fucking show likes to play with light and dark. But I mean,
hey, it was around that time.
Yeah. Well, and it just, it's like light and dark in a metaphysical sense definitely can be whatever the fuck you want them to be. It's just unfortunate when it's like, it just feels like it feels like a lot of the time it's just like light is light and dark is dark. And it's like, it feels like the writer is like expecting the audience to just intrinsically understand that, when it's like, and then they go like, and then you take the light and you put it in a person with a lot of hate, and then the light turns to fear. Dark?
No, it's hatred. The fear was in the Sea of Blood.
Well, what I mean is that it like...
And for some reason they just sync up on the same way.
You know, like, it gets corrupted by the hatred, and then it syncs up with the fear, and then it does a thing, and then Zaggy goes... And then, and then I don't know! Like, and then you're sitting there like... You didn't explain any of this! You're just telling us this! Like, that part pisses me off. It's like they're just like, and the light and the dark, you know what light and dark are. And it's like, yes, I know what light and dark are physically, but that's not what you're talking about. Is light good and dark is bad? Is fear bad? Why is fear bad? I understand why hatred can be considered bad, but why do fear and hatred mesh? Like, what does that do? Are we working on, like, a dark side, like, fear leads to hatred, like, kind of thing? Like, what are we doing?
No, fear is just really tasty. That's it.
But that doesn't explain why hatred, like, syncs up with the fear and causes the sea of whatever to go, have it! Just take it! Take the fear!
It's alien tech, alright? Somehow the memories of fear just hang out in this fucking pod.
But it's my okay. My issue isn't that they like sequestered the fear. My issue is that the light corrupted by the hatred opens up the container of the fear, and that does things that help Zaggy. Like it really just like, pardon the phrase, it just reeks of an asshole of like. And then this is just what happens. Why? Because we need something to happen. Like, that's all it feels like. It's like, we need this to matter. Throw together some concepts until they vaguely work. It's fine. It's not the worst I've screamed at Ultraman about.
I mean, hey, at least you're doing something about it, unlike with Cosmos, where you're just like, yeah, yep, that happened. Yep, I get what you're saying.
Cosmos was so, like, just... It really just was, like, it was so dumb and simple that I was just like, I can't really even nitpick this. Like, there's nothing of substance to get into. I just have to sit here and be like, yeah. And in my opinion, that's so much worse than, like... I will never forget me screaming about, like, the stupidity of the paradoxes that were involved in Ultraman going back and creating the Ultraman show. Like, but at least that was something to yell about. Cosmo is like... I literally don't remember basically anything.
No, that's fair. I kind of also don't remember much.
Like, and...
Aside from, hey, we're gonna protect it. Get the missiles.
I don't even remember that. No, and that's always been, like, my argument for why I appreciate Showa, I think, more than you do, is that, like, I kind of, like, in a twisted way, enjoy the terrible parts of Showa, because at least there was something to talk about.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather watch absolute trash than watch something that just gives me nothing. Again, but that's not to reflect on Nexus. Nexus seems competent, and they were trying, and they were trying harder than most of the Ultraman shows that I can remember. So good on them. Like, I'm down for, like, trying to tell a real story.
Yeah, I hear that this one did so bad, though, that they kind of stepped away from that. We're getting back to Monster of the Week for the next one, I've heard.
Well, that's the problem with ratings, is that, like, people don't, like, the mass audiences aren't there to think. They're there to tune in on occasion and enjoy a single episode. They're not there to, like, catch a random episode and be like, I don't understand what's going on. Well, you see, you need the context for the previous episodes. And it's like, but that means I have to put in effort. I don't come to TV to think. It's like...
Well, to be fair to Nexus, I feel like 20% of its runtime is flashbacks. They are aggressive with flashbacks. Like,
but are these, like, narrative flashbacks to... Are they flashbacks to previous episodes? Yes. Or are they flash...
Yeah, like I can't believe they shot Ultraman, and then they'll flash back to the last episode where they shot Ultraman.
Alright, that's kind of dumb, but...
It was me, I was the bad guy, and then they would flash back. I'm being the bad guy right now. There is a whole lot of 20% might actually be, like, an overstatement, but I feel like every episode had a flashback.
Well, it was probably because they knew, like, we're making a more narratively rich series, and God forbid, like, again, someone wasn't able to catch the last episode.
Look, I saw Dollfront die at least 4 times. They kept using that flashback. I don't mean like it's several flashbacks. I mean they used the same flashback multiple times.
Well, it was important. It was an important character moment, and now I'm almost sad because it's like you made a continuous story, but you didn't respect the viewer enough to remember anything. So, all right, that takes points away from Nexus because clearly they're like, people are stupid, but I want to write a slightly smarter show. Keep reminding them of things.
Well, I think they were afraid that the memory police, like when they did their cell phone flashing,
it would flash everyone else.
Yeah, maybe it would hit the audience.
Maybe it would actually work.
And the audience would just forget. So they just had to. Yeah. No.
I would have appreciated it if, like, because you said that that soon-to-be Ultraman was effectively told to, like, not trust his own memories. I would have loved it if flashbacks had been used in that context where they would change subtly as the show went on, and it would be like, oh, people's memories have been fucked with. They're not remembering things correctly. Like, that would have been cool, but you're literally saying they're using the exact same scenes. Because it's like, do you remember? Do you?
I remember one girlfriend died.
Let's watch it again.
2 episodes later. This reminds me of when girlfriend died. Okay, well, we've talked about this long enough.
Probably.
So we'll see you for the next one. I don't know when that's going to happen.